Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back for another edition of the Tag Lab. And the Tag Lab, where we say creativity and collage experiments come to life. So I'm getting all my stuff and I'm starting to experiment with some of the things I already have in my stash. Today in the lab, I want to play with alcohol inks. I want to make an alcohol ink tag and collage on it. Now with alcohol inks, you gotta use paper. You can't use your regular paper. You gotta use something with a little, I think it's called like a little coating on it, like kind of a plastic coating or something like that. I know you can use Dualar, but mostly I use UPO. And I got a whole bunch of this UPO when it was on sale at Hobby Lobby and Joann's when everybody went out of business. So I had it, and that's what made me think today I want to play with that. So I cut my tag down, and I got me out some of my alcohol inks. So today I'm going to use a little lettuce. I think I'm going with the greens. I'm going to use a little lettuce, a little Sublime. I'm going to use some Everglades. I'm going to use a little mixative. I think I'm going to use some gold. I'm going to need some alcohol blending solution. I'm using some 91% isopropyl alcohol to help move everything around. Let's see what else I'm going to play with. I think that's all I'm going to play with. I think those are the only colors I'm going to play with. And I might play with a little caramel. So I got them. I got everything all right. I got my tool. I don't know what this thing is called. I call it the woof 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 tool. So I got my tool to move my alcohol ink, my inks around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray now I'm a beginner alcohol user. I'm not a professional by no means. I just like playing with it. I think alcohol inks is just really cool, just the way it is. I think it's just cool because it just kind of starts moving all around. You blow it around with your little hoo-hoo tool, and you make the most beautiful backgrounds. Look at that. I'm liking that already. I just like the way it looks. And I like how it just kind of, you blow it around. It just gets itself going. And you just play with it. I remember watching Tim Holtz do a few experiments with everything. And, you just kind of play with it. And like I've had alcohol ink in my stash for a while, I've had it in my stash for a while. And the other thing you're supposed to have is a well-ventilated area. My area is well ventilated, but in the background I have my little fan on just to make sure I got air blowing and everything like that, because the alcohol ink does have a bit of a smell to it. And you kind of want to make sure you're breathing good and everything like that when you're playing with chemicals and things. Now look at that so far. I like how this looks. I really do. I really like how it looks. I had a little piece of something like this, and I wanted to smash it around, get some texture in there, get some texture on the back of my card, on my tag. I think it's looking nice. I like it. I'm going to spray a little bit more alcohol right there. So let's get that moving. I want to move it around a little bit because I don't want, let me see if I can put a little caramel. Let's see what the little caramel will do. Little caramel. Just to give me something. Just to give me something else, a little caramel. I think I'm going to do it like this. Just dab the alcohol on like that. Yeah, a little caramel. Want a little bit more, I think I want a little bit more of this green. Put it on with the caramel, see what I get. But anyway, so this is something else, you know, because when we buy a lot of supplies and we start moving stuff around in our craft room and we start playing with all the stuff that we get, you know, I found myself entertained for quite a few hours down in my craft room playing with my alcohol inks and just loving the look of it and what I was achieving with it. And I was thinking, oh my goodness, this is so great. And I think I need I want a little of this here. This is the blending ink, the blending solution. Now, what I should have been doing is the gold, hear that little ball in there? The gold, the others don't really have to be mixed up that much, but when you have the mixatives and things like that, you need to just really shake it up really good and get all the alloys and everything so it can move. There, let's see. Put a little gold. Let's get a little gold going in there. Put a little. Now what I'm going to do is, I want to spread that around a little bit. Get some gold moving in there. So you just get it moving. I want to move it around a little bit. Let's get it like that. Just take it around. Now the gold has kind of moved everything about. Put a little alcohol down there. Because the gold has moved around and taken over some of my green spots. I don't want all my green spots to be gone. So I'm going to lightly swish it around. Lightly swish it so it can mix good. I want to put a little bit more of my green. And the thing about this, I think I was listening once when Tim Holtz was saying, you know, you start playing and you just keep playing. And the only thing you got to know is when do you want to stop? And that's what I got to figure out. Because I'm liking this the way it looks here. But I don't want big white spots. Kind of want, I like the gold. I like how this looks. Oh, I got a white spot right there. I like the look of this. I think it looks really, really pretty. And if I was to cut this out with cut some of it out with a, what do you call it? With a die cut, like a die to make leaves or something like that. I think that would even, you know, if you took your alcohol inks and you did something like that, that would even be pretty. That would be just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. Now, let's see. I want to get see if I can get a little texture there. I'm going to let them bring my fan over for a second and see if I could dry it up, because I forgot to bring my heat tool over to dry it a little bit. I just want a little bit dry. Just dry it up. Dry it up. I like the look of this. And I have been playing around a little bit with everything. Just to... There. Now, I like that. Tell me what you think. How does that look? Is that not gorgeous? Look at the gold. Look at the reflection of the gold. Oh, that's beautiful. That is just beautiful. Beautiful. Now what I want to do is, because we're going to collage a little bit, I don't want to put a lot of collage work on it, but I got a little fairy that I wanted to add to it this week. To because you gotta, you really, with a tag like this, you really don't need to have that much of a focal image. You have a nice focal image, and hoping that it blends well with all the colors that you put on it. But I am just so happy with how this has turned out. Oh, I got one more here. Is that I went in my little stash of things that I cut out to find a focal image, and look who I found. I found her. I found her. And what I want to do is put her there. I think she looks good against that background. Tell me in the comments, do you think all of the green is too much? But she's a green fairy, so where she comes from in green fairyland is everything's green in fairyland. Like there's everything's nice and bright. Your little wings are just, you're flitting around with your little wings and things like that. I don't know if I like that there. I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like that. I don't think I do. I don't know if I need to put the leaves on. I thought the leaves would be good. Let me just see if I can dab that off. Yeah, it dabs off nice. I don't think I want the things right there. I think I would like the leaves to be down here, like it was on the, like she's fleeing around on the floor of the down near the base of the fairy tree. I haven't quite figured out. Do the fairies all live in trees, or where do they stay? I know where Tinkerbell lived. I think Tinkerbell lived in a tree or something like that, but I don't know where the fairies live, if they actually live in trees or whatever, wherever the fairies be. Now, what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to try to put some gold flakes down there. Some little gold flakes. Gold flakes is one of those things when you're working with it. You got to be careful because the gold flakes go everywhere. Gold flakes go everywhere. So I have to turn my thing off because they were just flying around. My flakes was just flying around places. And once they get dry on here, I just want to put them on here because she's a fairy. And she got, this little gold where fairies be, I'm sure. I don't know any fairies personally, but I'm sure there's gold there, I'm sure. I don't know the fairies personally. I haven't seen one. If they're, if they exist, mythology and all that kind of stuff. As Earth, Wind, and Fire would say, mysticisms and world religions and all that kind of stuff. That, you don't know where fairies can be found. So I kind of like that on there. I got to wait till it dries up there. And then, how when you put the flakes on, it just kind of, you got to let it dry a little bit before you can peel the flakes off. And to make sure make sure it sticks. But I'm just, with the tag lab, I'm just getting out all of my stuff that's been sitting in my cupboards, and that's why I like with the title, experimentation and collaging. Collaging is one of my favorite things to do. I love collaging. I love searching for specialty, the images that I use in my collaging. I love looking for that. So there she is. And I wanted to put, I usually have a thing here. I don't know if that's too big or if I want it down there. Watch me pull up some of my foil. I think I want to leave that down there. And I probably want to put, sometimes I don't put words on, but sometimes I do. And I like this here. It's kind of big. Kind of big. There we go. All right. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think of my my collage and the use of the alcohol inks. Let me show you really quickly, because I played a little bit before. I had been playing around a bit with some more backgrounds. So first thing I did is, you know, if you've been around for a while, you know I'm a reader. So I made some, let's move her aside for a bit because she's still dry. I made some alcohol ink bookmarks. Look how beautiful these bookmarks came out, you guys. What do you think? What do you think of those? Those are just gorgeous, just gorgeous. Now, if you'd like to have a bookmark, put down in the comments that I'd love to have one of those bookmarks, and I'll pick a couple of names and a couple of people, and I'll send you some of the bookmarks, because I'm going to make a few more, so I'll send out some bookmarks. If you'd like to have a bookmark, let me know in the section that says I like a bookmark, and I'll DM you and get your information, and I'll send you some bookmarks. I also made that one. That's another one where I used the foil. This one, look at that one. That one's gorgeous too. And then I have this one. And then this one. I did another green too. I did that one. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Also, tell me if you'd like to have an alcohol ink bookmark. I'd be glad to send it to you. And I'll DM me your, say you like to have one, and then DM me your address, and I'll be glad to send them to you. Thank you for joining me today in the Tag Lab. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up. And also, if you're not a subscriber here, please subscribe and share what your favorite parts of and what you think about the alcohol inks. And remember, self-care is not selfish. And I'll see you next Wednesday for another creative experiment. Bye, y'all.